Are you counting down the days until Epic Universe opens at Universal Orlando? Well, so are we, and while we're still months away from the grand opening of Universal's biggest expansion ever, we've already got the insider tips that'll make your first day, dare I say it, epic. We were lucky enough to visit the brand new park this past weekend, and this park is going to completely change how you experience theme parks in Orlando forever. And that's why we have created our way too early list of tips and tricks for Epic Universe to make sure you are as prepared as possible for your next family vacation. So whether you're wondering what will be the best time to arrive to see your must-do attractions in Super Nintendo World, or Mike, how do I maximize my time in Dark Universe, this video is your first step to mastering Epic Universe before the gates even open up. As always, I'm very excited, so let's go get started. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. Like I said, this is the first of many of our tips and tricks to visit Epic Universe and to get the most out of your day or days at Epic Universe. And you'll see a lot of what I'm going to start with in this video is going to be pre-planning the type of tickets you buy, right? How to make sure you get early park admission, all that good stuff. And then we're going to jump in and just the basics and some of the first tips and tricks that we could see from being in Epic and how you should tackle this park, as you come up with your own game plan. But let's start with, of course, when it comes to going to Universal Orlando, you can't go into the theme parks without your tickets. So tip and trick number one is going to be understanding the ticket types. And I think, one of the things that I will say is from everyone that I'm speaking with, everyone is telling me that Epic Universe is going to be a multi-day sort of theme park. And so where we're going to start is something new, some new information that came out about Epic Universe, and that is we now have one-day tickets to Epic Universe. That, of course, is new, as we have had multi-day tickets that essentially include one day at Epic Universe for a couple months now. So, the tip and trick here is you're going to see Universal, from a marketing standpoint, they were very, very clever with how they released the products. And what I mean by that is from everyone that I'm speaking with at Universal and from what I can actually now see myself being in the theme park, Epic Universe is going to really be a 2-day park. And it is really going to be a 2-day park if you have just a regular, admission ticket. And so you will have to be strategic with how you tackle and buy your tickets. Now, some of the ticket options that I think are going to be the most popular moving forward are going to be, of course, the one-day ticket to Epic Universe, but I think a lot of families will kind of team that up with a multi-day ticket, specifically the 2-park, 1-day park-to-park ticket plus 1 day at Epic. So this will essentially give you, if you buy a 1-day Epic Universe ticket plus a 2-park, 1-day park-to-park ticket, which would allow you into Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida within 1 day, plus 1 day at Epic. On top of that, you are essentially getting 2 days at Epic Universe, plus you're getting 1 day to hit the original Universal Studios Florida and Islands of Adventure parks. One of the other really popular ones I could see is going to be a 2-park, 2-day park-to-park ticket, plus 1 day at Epic Universe. And so you might also be wondering, well, Mike, I don't want to go to Epic Universe for 2 days. I'm only in Orlando for a short amount of time. Is it possible to get through Epic within 1 day? And that brings me to my next, of course, tip and trick would be understand how the Express Passes work. So Universal did just release the Universal Express Passes, and they do have a 1-day Express Pass for Epic Universe, but they also have a now multi-day Express Pass for the 3 parks, which would be Islands of Adventure, Universal Studios Florida, and Epic Universe. Now, it's important to note a tip and trick there is if you're shopping for those multi-day Epic tickets, they are going to be regular Universal Express Passes. But, of course, just like it sounds, if you're familiar with Universal in the past, the Express Pass can be a great way to get on a lot of rides in a short amount of time because it's a premium product and it will help you essentially skip the regular lines and get on a shorter line. Now, the important thing you have to keep in mind is it does not include every single ride. So as of this point in time, the Epic Universe Express Pass does not include Dragon Racers Rally, which is in the Isle of Berk. It does not include Minecart Madness in Super Nintendo World, and it also does not include what I believe will be the most popular ride, Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry, which is in the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, Ministry of Magic. And so you'll see that last ride, right? Now, from everything that we've heard during the media previews and also just based on our own experiences, this ride is absolutely amazing, and this probably will be the longest wait time, and they're easily expecting a 3 to 4 hour 2-hour wait for the Battle of the Ministry. So even if you get the Universal Express Pass, there's still a strategy here. Universal has still put us in a position where we need a park plan going into our day. We need to have our list of rides, and you need to really understand how you want to tackle your day in order to get the most out of it, even if you're upgrading to the Universal Express Pass. And so this is kind of where I think they're getting clever. And of course, for the ultimate experience, you might be wondering, well, Mike, I don't want to have to, I just want to be able to show up and get on every single ride. Like, how can you guarantee that? And, the best way at this point in time is to upgrade to a VIP experience. And like I said, don't hate the messenger here. This is just my honest opinion. If you're looking for that ultimate experience where you don't have to really worry and you can get through every single ride at Epic Universe within one day, you do possibly want to look at upgrading to the VIP experience. So the reason being is because they will take you to the front of every single one of the rides, and it is kind of, your way to get through Epic Universe in one day. Now, of course, my channel has always been about just the best tips and tricks. So if you're trying to come up with your own, kind of priority list and to come up with your own park plan at home, if you're not interested in doing any of the upgrades, here's kind of where I am projecting these rides to be based on popularity and also based on wait times. So of course, in at number 1, like I said, we have Harry Potter and the Battle of the Ministry. In at number 2, we have Monsters Unchained. In at number 3, we have Stardust Racers. In at number 4, we have Minecart Madness. And in at number 5, we have Dragon Racers Rally. And so now jumping into some of the, the free ways that you could possibly get a little bit of an advantage when it comes to wait times is, of course, to possibly take advantage of early park admission. And again, in my opinion, when you're looking at, okay, well, some of the rides are included with the Express Pass, we also have to look and figure out, well, which rides are included with early park admission. And of course, this is a benefit of staying at one of the official Universal Orlando hotels. So, I say free, but you do have to go and stay at one of the official Universal Orlando hotels to get this benefit. So it's not really free, but of course you need a hotel to stay at anyway, right? So, you could see where I'm going with this. So what I would say at this point in time is it's crucial to understand the rides that are open for early park admission. And as of right now, Universal Orlando has released that we do have all of the rides in Super Nintendo World, which is going to be Mario Kart Bowser's Challenge, Yoshi's Adventure, and then Minecart Madness. And we also have Stardust Racers open for early park admission as well. So now let's jump, back over to, let's say that you did go with the Universal Express Pass. Well, Minecart Madness is not part of the Universal Express Pass. You could see where I'm going with this. If you are going to take advantage of early park admission and you also have a Universal Express Pass, you want to go and you want to try to tackle Minecart Madness. And just in general, the tip and trick here would be that one of the things that we're seeing that's so different about Epic compared to some of the other theme parks in Orlando is Epic Universe really, they're, the way that the lands are set up is they're really, really like you're going through a portal into the land. And so what that does is once you are in that land, like you're really immersed in the experience and it's amazing. But from a, let's say, just flow standpoint, like it's not like other theme parks where you go, let's say at Magic Kingdom, you go from Tomorrowland and you walk over to Fantasyland. Like you have to actually leave Super Nintendo World back into Celestial Park in order to then go over to the new, Ministry of Magic, Wizarding World of Harry Potter land. So that's important to keep in mind as you're making your game plan, because that really, there's a little bit more that goes into just leaving Super Nintendo World and going over to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. And what I think that's important is, like, once you're in the land, you should really try to target and tackle all of the rides if you can, because if not, you're kind of just making more work for yourself and you're going back and forth. So my honest opinion is you really have to pick and choose. Well, do we want to be in Super Nintendo World, or do we want to hit Stardust Racers and then maybe Rope Drop or try to get into, Dark Universe first, right? That's part of the game plan that's going to come into Epic Universe. And again, I think that's a big part of why this is possibly, a 2-day park, why it possibly will take you a little bit longer to get onto all of these rides, especially within the first year, as we are seeing increased, demand, because everyone wants to go check out the brand new park. And so another one of the cool tips and tricks here for Minecart Madness is also keep in mind it definitely being kind of framed as a family-friendly coaster, but it does actually go a lot faster than you might expect. And my honest opinion is if you only have enough time for one ride within Super Nintendo World, hands down, it's Minecart Madness. Okay, so over to the next tip and trick, of course, and that would be, again, we've spoken about the advantage of your early park admission, and I honestly believe that you really do want to try to stay on property at an official Universal Orlando hotel if you can, especially when it comes to Epic Universe. Now, of course, one of the added benefits that we haven't spoken about yet of staying at an official Universal Orlando hotel is the free transportation to and from Epic Universe via shuttle bus. However, there are a few, I should really say, two Epic Universe hotels that are within walking distance. So we do have Helios Grand Hotel, which is one of the newest Signature Collection hotels, and they actually, Universal just announced that it is going to do a soft opening right now, and they're taking reservations early before the May 22nd official park opening. But the cool thing about this hotel is it has a dedicated park entrance located inside the park, and then also one of the things we were really blown away by is it has some really amazing resort view rooms. And especially if you're the type of person where you love, the theme parks at night, some of the views of these rooms looking at Epic Universe at night are amazing. I honestly think that's like a vacation in itself. But one of the other hotels that I really personally enjoyed was Universal Stella Nova Resort, which is going to be a prime value hotel. But the other thing that I love about this hotel is that it does have a designated walking path to Epic Universe. And tip and trick on top of the tip and trick is Helios, Stella Nova, and Terra Luna make up the three brand new Epic Universe hotels. What I'm finding here is Stella Nova has the benefit from a walking ability standpoint where it has the walking path, but Terra Luna actually is a few bucks less per night. The week that I looked anyway is around $25 less per night. So you could see there, if you're going for convenience of the walking path, you're going with Stella Nova. And if you're going for, save a couple bucks, you're going with Terra Luna. Now, of course, one of the other really important things to keep in mind is when to visit. When do you visit Epic Universe? And of course, with the excitement around the brand new park does come some crowd. So you do have to be mindful of that. But we're actually seeing a lot of really, really great hotel prices through the summer of 2025 right now. And of course, as always, typically we are going to see ticket prices be the lowest in September. So right now we're seeing September 7th to 8th for ticket prices are around $151 per person per day for a 3-day Universal Orlando ticket. So the original 2 theme parks plus 1 day at Epic Universe. And that's kind of the same thing, especially for the Express Pass prices. We are seeing Express Pass prices be a little bit cheaper during that time. Over to the next one. I think this might be one of the most important things that we are getting out of Epic Universe, and that is Universal Orlando just became so much more family friendly. And if you've been watching my channel, one of the things that I've always had a difficult time with has been helping families with young kids plan their days in the park, because for so long it was between Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios Florida, and honestly each park had like things for families to do, but there wasn't like one park that was like the outlier. But I think Epic Universe changes that. And specifically, I think when it comes to Super Nintendo World, I think when it comes to How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, and of course we have the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, there are now so many things for young kids to enjoy as well. And specifically when it comes to Super Nintendo World, well, of course we have 3 really, really great rides that are family friendly in Super Mario Bowser's Challenge, in Yoshi's Adventure, and of course Minecart Madness. But one of the things that we really enjoyed on our last visit, or our first visit I should say, to Epic is of course the power-up bands. And what this will allow families with young kids to do is, yes, it is an upgraded experience. So you will have to purchase the power-up band, but your kids can run around for hours within Super Nintendo World now and complete challenges and get to the point where they do get to go into Bowser's Castle, and I think that changes the game. It really does. The other thing that Universal has released to keep an eye out for is going to be new wand locations, or spell locations I should say. There's a brand new interactive wand, so now of course, leaning towards the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, it will allow you just to hang out and really enjoy the ambiance in that land a lot more. And of course, last but not least, How to Train Your Dragon Isle of Berk, I think is a slam dunk for families visiting with young kids. I think not only do they have some really, really great rides for families with young kids, but also just the theming. I mean, you could walk around for hours and just enjoy the vibes going on, especially if you grew up watching How to Train, Your Dragon movies. And of course, a big part of this, bringing us to our next tip and tricks, is you can't miss the character meet and greets. Make sure, and I think this is a big part of why this could be, or is a 2-day park as well, just because these character meet and greets are going to be almost just as popular as the rides. And we post on social media, and the character meet and greets, specifically the meet and greet of Toothless, the dragon from How to Train Your Dragon, they are going bananas over these meet and greets. So you do have to be mindful of that. So the meet and greets that we have in the Isle of Berk are going to be Honor the Bond between Dragon and Viking at the Heddock Paddock, where you'll get to meet and pose for photos with the heroic Hiccup and the friendly Night Fury dragon Toothless. You can also meet some of the other characters such as Astrid and Stormfly, to Roughnut and Toughnut, and there's just essentially dragons everywhere throughout this land. Over to Super Nintendo World, we do have some really popular character meet and greets here as well, where guests can meet Mario and Luigi. Also, they can meet Princess Peach, Toad, and Donkey Kong is a brand new one that actually we haven't had before, because Super Nintendo World was out in Universal Hollywood, but now we do have the brand new Donkey Kong Country, which just adds a whole nother aspect to the Super Nintendo World. And something that I found really, really enjoyable that I wasn't expecting was just the characters that were around Dark Universe. So guests are able to meet Frankenstein's monster and the Bride of Frankenstein, but another really, really fun one was Igor, kind of running around Dark Universe interacting with guests. So as you can see, there really is everything, and we're not even done with this video yet, but if you are liking this video to this point, if you are finding it helpful, please just be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video, as I have a lot more Epic Universe content coming out. We're really going to dive into the really, really nitty gritty tips and tricks in the next couple of videos. But back over to this one, and of course the next tip and trick would be don't skip the shows. And we've been talking about this, but we did have 2 brand new shows coming to Epic Universe, and the first one, The Untrainable Dragon, I thought was just amazing. It was really, really cool, entertaining, and again, something that families with young kids will love. So this is a live show in the Isle of Berk. It features beloved characters including Hiccup, Gobber, and Astrid. And so a new dragon shows up, and the Vikings think that they may have finally met their match with the mystery of an untrainable dragon. And then over inside the Wizarding World of Harry Potter Ministry of Magic, we do have Le Cirque Arcanus, which will be the first ever full-scale theater experience in any of the Harry Potter lands. And so here, Ringmaster Skender is trying to bring Le Circus Arcanus back to its former glory. And to make it happen, he has stolen Newt Scamander's suitcase from the Fantastic Beast, and this will feature different creatures from around the world. And so over to my next tip and trick, and this is something I talk about food a lot on my channel, but I don't actually think I've ever been to a theme park where there are so many restaurants that I want to eat at. And there, I guess the tip and trick here is like really, really do your research and try to figure out exactly which restaurant you want to eat at, because so many of them look amazing and they're so well done. And we do have 2 brand new sit-down restaurants within Celestial Park, which are going to be Blue Dragon Pan Asian and the Atlantic. The views, and from all the videos I've seen so far online about the Atlantic, the views look absolutely amazing. I can't even imagine eating there at night with Celestial Park kind of, the water going on in the background. But some of the other really cool ones too are going to be some of the quick service restaurants. So in Celestial Park, we have Comet Dogs, we have Frosty Moon, we have the Pizza Moon, and then we also have the Oak and Star Tavern. But some of the other ones that I am personally looking forward to, this next one is the Dosh Steakhouse and the Burning Blade Tavern, which are both 2 restaurants within the Dark Universe section of Epic Universe. Over in Isle of Berk, we have the Meat Hall, which looks really, really well done from a theming standpoint. And then, of course, I've eaten at Toadstool Cafe in the past in Universal Hollywood. If you are a Super Nintendo fan, the theming of this restaurant is absolutely bananas, and you're going to really want to, check them out all. That's what you're going to want to check every single one of these restaurants out. And this might be like, Epcot typically has been the Orlando like foodie park. This might be the new foodie park in Orlando. And some of the other snacks and stuff, we have seen a butterbeer crepe coming out of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, but also there was a Donkey Kong ice cream sundae that looked really, really good as well. Just the food looked like a vacation in itself. So that's something that you definitely want to be prepared for as you're coming into your day. And of course, the next one, be prepared for the lines, right? And I think we've spoken about this a bunch, but like you can imagine, Epic Universe will be very crowded, especially when it opens up. So you want to be prepared for longer lines. And a lot of what goes into that is bring a backpack from home, bring snacks, bring portable phone chargers, bring games that you can play in line. And this is, it seems crazy, but the truth is, if you're waiting for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and it has a 3-hour wait, yes, we all have our cell phones, but you're on a family vacation, so bring stuff that will make the entire family kind of, be able to bond and you build those memories. And it seems corny and cliche, but like I feel like in the hustle and bustle of like packing and planning this, this is a brand new park, there's so much that goes into planning, this might get lost in translation, but I think it's a very important one. And of course, stay hydrated, wear comfortable clothes, especially if you're visiting in the summer. And as you can see, this video was very, very long, and we haven't even touched like the really, really fun stuff, which we are going to continue to cover in the next couple weeks, especially as we continue to go to Epic to really figure out how is the best way to tackle this park. But this was a bunch of just where we wanted to start. And last but not least, there are so many different intellectual properties. The whole Epic universe is built around stuff that we have grown up with, stuff that we love, such as Harry Potter, such as Monsters, such as Super Nintendo World, How to Train a Dragon. I would say go and watch these movies. Go and watch them before you have your Universal Orlando vacation. So for the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, of course, we have the Ministry of Magic Land. So this is going to be watch all 8 of the original Harry Potter films, but also watch the Fantastic Beasts films, as that's actually what this land is themed after. Over to the Dark Universe, of course, we have Frankenstein, we have Bride of Frankenstein, and we have the Wolfman. Super Nintendo World, you can watch the Super Mario Brothers, or you could just go play some old school Nintendo video games. And of course, How to Train Your Dragon, Isle of Berk. Go watch the original How to Train Your Dragon movies. And Universal was very smart about their marketing. They actually have a brand new How to Train Your Dragon movie coming out in the next couple of weeks. So that is it, everyone. That is my first video on the way too early tips and tricks for Epic Universe. But I really, really hope you found this video helpful. As you could see, there is a lot that goes into planning and getting the most out of your day now. Of course, you have to start with your tickets, making sure that you are prepared. If you go with your regular base tickets, making sure that you're taking advantage of stuff like early park admission, having a game plan. When you get to Super Nintendo World, over to Harry Potter, you got some games to wait online for a couple hours, or maybe you go over to Dark Universe. But whatever you decide to do, I hope that you found this video helpful, and I hope that you do have an amazing Epic Universe vacation. And if you do need additional help planning that next Universal Orlando vacation, just be sure to go check out our website, theparkprodigy.com. And as a thank you for sticking around all the way till the end of this video, I do have a special promo code that you can go use on our website to save an extra $50 off your next Universal Orlando vacation. And that promo code is going to be MAGIC50. But I think that's all the time we have for today. Thank you all again so much for checking out this video. And until next time, I will talk to you soon.